Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the KNKL show. Today's January 16th, 2014, and today is the 154th episode of the KNKL show, and today just so happens to be Thursday. And you know what we do on Thursday? We like to meditate, become one with the artist universe and one with our own minds and our bodies and selves. And today we're talking about a subject that I like to entitle Sabotaging Your Own Success. And basically, a couple things that your mind likes to play on you when you're on the cusp of getting what you really want. Or you're on the edge of that tipping point. We're going to get to that in just a second. But before we jump into that, I do have a couple announcements to make. One of which, we're doing another share and win. Woo! You guys voted on these panels last week. And I have so generously gone ahead and printed them out. They are signed, and these are just a panel from the Emma comic. So just go on Facebook, share this thing. I'll reveal the winners on Monday. Get some cool prints. Lastly, before we move on, the Patreon. Thank you guys so much for getting us to our next goal, $175. Woo! And again, sending out more prints. I seriously got I'm print happy right now. So I'm sending these out to everybody who helped me get to that thing on Patreon. If you'd like to join us, simply go to patreon.com/Emma. All right, moving on. Today's talk. I really need to change that background. We're going to talk about changing your background, taking down your Christmas decorations so you don't look like a fool. No, but okay, so let's get into today's talk. And that is sabotaging your own success. What does that actually mean? What does that mean exactly? Well, first of all, it means that you should probably, what the heck is going on here? I need to, my camera's all messed up. Okay, so I fixed that by winking at it. Yeah. Well, we're talking about success, or sabotaging success. Okay, enough of that. This is already so bad. I should probably just restart this thing. This is so cheesy. This is so bad. Butchering your own show. Okay. Alright. So anyway. So the biggest reason why I want to talk to you guys about this today is because I've been feeling this feeling, and I get this feeling at certain points in my journey, right? While creating Emma and doing all this good stuff, right? There's times where I literally just sit down and I feel like I get this feeling within me that I just want to mess everything up. Like everything, it's like, oh man, the comic's getting some traction. Oh man, people are really enjoying this thing. I'm living my dream. I'm creating from my soul and giving to, honoring the people. And everything just feels so right. And there's something inside of me that just wants to mess it all up. Just stop it all from happening and just go back to the way things were. All right? And there's a quote that one of my favorite motivational speakers said. His name was Les Brown. And he said this quote, and that is that people prefer known hells to unknown heavens. They prefer known hells to unknown heavens. And that quote really stuck with me, right? That went straight in the journal. As soon as I heard that went right in the journal. But then I sat down and I thought about it a little bit. And I was like, why do people prefer to live a life of settling for less than they know they could get, or just accepting that their life is the cause of everything around them and they are just out of control and they are the victim? Why do people just prefer to live a known life that is not happy, as opposed to going for something that is truly great, right? Pursuing their passion, creating something, right? Giving to people. And the answer is because simply it is just unknown. The unknown heaven. And that is the key word. If you were to write it down on a piece of paper, you would underline that word, unknown, 20 times. And the reason why that is because it's fear. Naturally, people fear the unknown. It's a basic instinct. It's a survival instinct, because we just don't know what is on the other side of that wall. And so the best thing that we can do is just keep from ever looking at it or venture over into it, as opposed to living in the briar thorns and the tumbleweeds, on the other side. Everything's just like dead, and you're just like laying on top of these tumbleweeds all day. These things are sticking you in the back, and it's terrible. It's a terrible life. But at least you know exactly what it is. You know that that's what you're going to be subjected to every single day. And I think that's where this comes into play. When you're about to do something that you would call successful, and I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about creating something, I'm talking about creating a project, I'm talking about bringing people together, bringing talented people together, just creating anything of value. Whenever you're about to actually, when you're at that point where you can literally see it happening. It's almost gotten to the point where you almost cannot stop it from happening. That can be one of the scariest points of your life. That can be one of the scariest points in your life. And the reason why is because everything is beginning to change around you. You are now changing your life, and everything is beginning to show that. Your life is changing. The people that you attract into it, your friends, your circumstances, where you live, the things you have, the clothes you wear, the way you feel about yourself, more importantly than anything, is changing. You are beginning to develop confidence. You are developing skills. You are becoming an amazing person. And this is, again, one of the scariest things. And very quickly, once again, there's this thing inside of you that will come in and try to mess it all up. Because it knows that if it messes everything up, it just messes everything up, then at least that'll stop the change. It'll stop the change. You'll just stick right where you were, and you won't move, right? And that is a very interesting thing that I've always wondered why that happens. And let me explain. Let's delve into this. Like, how do you sabotage? Like, exactly what happens? Like, what, you just blow up your computer? You just want to take your monitor, right, and like chuck it out the window all of a sudden? Well, maybe, but usually it likes to sneak in more subtle ways. And the way that it does it for me, more often than not, is I notice that whenever I'm about to do something that I would consider a success, right? Like, for instance, the latest happening of this is the Patreon. We've raised almost $200 per month of me making this comic within 2 weeks. And I look at that, and on one hand, I am just thrilled. I am super excited. I am thankful. And I'm just like, oh man, people really appreciate what I'm doing for them. People really appreciate the hard work and things that, and it's not really hard work. It's like, I'm doing what I love. It's hard work in the sense of, pushing past, the barriers. That's the hard work. But making the comic, that's the easiest thing I could ever do. But believing in yourself is the hard work, right? Just constantly pushing yourself past these barriers that are going to come in front of you. That's where the hard work is. And again, so I look at the Patreon. I'm like, holy crap, we're about to cross $200 a month for me making this comic. And I'm like, that is so awesome. And then that thing comes up where it's like, oh man, I can't do this, right? And then I'll wanna distract myself. Distractions is where it comes from. I was trying to eloquently put that, but I was just like, distractions. And the way that I distract myself is I immediately just become completely scatterbrained. Like, I'm looking around. I get very insecure. I'll always be, an example of this is I'll constantly just like look at, comments of people, like what everybody's saying about me on the YouTube and on DeviantArt and on Facebook. And it's like, oh, I just did this. Oh, I wonder what everybody thinks about that. And I'll read every single comment that comes in. Or, oh, I just did the whatever Wednesday yesterday. Oh, well, it's important to me to value community feedback, so I better read every single comment on this thing and check it every 5 minutes, right? Just in case somebody else put something there. And like I said, it's good. I mean, I do value what you guys are thinking and what you guys have to say about the show and ways that it can improve and things that you appreciate. But I take it to the extreme where I'm like, oh, I wonder if somebody else said something. And I'll check it like every 5 minutes. And it's really bad. Again, it's distracting myself. I can't focus. I can't focus on my work, on the things that I need to do today. There's no more focus happening. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Playing games. All of a sudden, this is really funny. Like, whenever I'm about to do something that's amazing, I just get this overwhelming, urge to just play video games all day. Just like, oh, I should get back into World of Warcraft. I should start playing that every day like I used to. I should stay up till 6 a.m., sleep until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and just play World of Warcraft every single day. Forget the comic, Oh, yeah, I'll work on the comic every now and then, but, And this is exactly how I begin to think about sabotaging myself. And the reason why it is because I'm afraid. I really am. And me talking about it really does help, but it just, a common thing that I'm starting to notice about life is that once you kind of understand, once you kind of know your behaviors, like just because you understand and you know that, oh, hey, whenever I'm about to do something really awesome, I get this feeling of where I just want to mess it up. Just because you know it's there doesn't mean it goes away. It will never go away. These feelings of insecurity, these feelings of wanting people to like you, these feelings of feeling like you're not important unless you do something absolutely amazing that the whole world enjoys or the whole world just praises you for. You know, these things will creep into your mind. And where was I going with this? The next thing that kind of leads into is kind of something along the lines of when you're about to when you can see the success. It's like you're climbing a mountain. You can see the top. You know, I told myself this. I wrote it in my journal. It's like I feel like I'm climbing a mountain, and now I can see the top. It's still a ways away. It's still a ways away, but I can see it. You know, whereas before I was just kind of like trudging through the valleys and kind of, you know, looking around, like dodging, you know, falling stalagmites every now and then, or stalactites. Is that? I forget which one it is. Stalagmite, stalactite. I don't know. You guys let me know. But dodging things. Maybe they're erupting from the ground, and I got to watch out for those too. But now I'm like out in the open, and I can see the top. It's really awesome. And there's a part of me that just wants to turn around and just jump off the cliff, you know? It's so weird. I don't know where this comes from, other than the desire to avoid change, because change is uncertain and we fear what is not known. So I got a really good question sent in to my DeviantArt of someone who's talking about their artwork. And just this feeling of, they basically say someone in their class is basically kind of bullies them, or kind of looks at their art and says, what's up with your style? It's like really creepy. It's kind of weird. I don't like it. And then she, like this other girl, right, the one that's bullying her, right, I think this is the case, is talking herself up, right, just pumping herself up, be like, yeah, people like my art. I got the scholarship to go to this really awesome, prestigious art college, which is coincidentally the one that the girl writing the message wants to go to. And she basically asked the question, how do you deal with people not liking your art, or people just kind of attacking your art, attacking your expressions? And the best way that I found to deal with this, and there's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that basically says, the hardest thing for a man to do is to be himself in a world that's constantly trying to change him. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said that. He wrote that 100 years ago, before the internet was even a thing. So if he felt the pressures of society and the pressures of conformity back then, before you could upload something to DeviantArt or put something on YouTube and then instantly get that feedback where people will either adore or attack your work, you have to think about how much more it applies today. It's exponentially more difficult to produce something that is truly yours. And Elliot Hulse actually has a talk on this that I really, really like. In fact, I'm borrowing a lot of his language. But for those of you who don't know who Elliot Hulse is, big, macho, buff bodybuilder dude who is also into psychology stuff. So I like to listen to a lot of motivational speakers. He was talking about that too. But he says, again, and this applies to that girl, you're creating something that is truly from within you. And nobody else seems to like it at first. But I guarantee you, if there is a reason why you are pursuing that specific style, and I checked out your art. The girl who asked this question, I forgot your name. I do apologize. I did check out your art, and I see a lot of the qualities that I was working with. You know, when I was getting into art and I was learning and all that stuff, I see a lot of those qualities in your art. And all the time I would be sitting in my class, right, and I'd be drawing anime. And all my teachers would be like, oh, you don't want to draw that. You don't want to draw that style. There's no work in that. Nobody's going to take you seriously. Anime's for kids. Nobody's going to look at that professionally, right? You're not going to get a job doing that. You got to do this over here. You got to learn fundamentals. You got to learn to work with this type of paint. You got to learn with these materials. And I just chose to ignore that. I really did. I just looked at what they were saying and I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but I really enjoy this. I really like this. So I just ignored them. And I kept doing it. And then guess what happened? After all that stuff, after high school and all that crap, I get a job being an intern and illustrating books. And the anime style, right? Like it wasn't like straight up Japanese anime, but there were influences. I think that's what it was. Is there were influences within anime that I loved and that I wanted to bring into my technique, my style. And I really think that that's something that you're going through as well. You feel very strongly about your style, whatever it is, the message or the visual story of it. There's something about that that really intrigues you. And I guarantee you, if you stick with that, you will attract the demand for it. You will attract the demand for the style that you do specifically because you are going to do it better than anybody else because it's your style. It's your unique style. You don't want to do the thing where you're like, oh, well, oh, this person's really popular, I'm just going to copy them. You know, or, oh, well, to get a job in the professional industry, I got to be able to do this and this and this and this. You know, it's like, I really just think that people that become truly great are those that just stick with what they like. They stick with what they like. And it's good to be versatile. I mean, I'm versatile. I can look at a style and be like, oh, yeah, I can take that and kind of work it in. But I always encourage you guys, and I say, don't lose track. Don't lose track of that unique thing that only you can do. And if you lose track of that, nobody else is going to do that for you. Nobody else is going to bring your style to this world. Nobody else is going to tell your story or create your comic or create your painting or story or anything, okay? Nobody's going to tell your story for you. And if you don't bring that to the world, then everybody will suffer, right? Everybody will suffer because they didn't get a chance to see that. They didn't get a chance to see what you were able to bring. Instead, you just blended into the crowd. You just kind of played it safe. You just became one of those artists that, oh yeah, they just follow everybody. They worry way too much about whatever other people think, reading all the comments constantly on their DeviantArt and on their YouTube like I do when I get really insecure. Because while I do appreciate feedback, you really have to just understand that really the people that are saying nice things about your art are doing so because you're just sticking with what you're good at. So their feedback really is just keep doing it, right? Just use that time that you would spend reading all these adoration, you know. And here's the thing I want to get into. If you're surrounded with people that love your art, it's almost just as bad, if not just as bad, as being surrounded by people that hate it. Because again, what happens is you become the servant. You become the servant to that adoration. Because it's like, oh, all these people love what I'm doing over here. They love the fact that I'm painting My Little Pony. So I guess I better just stick with that, right? Because that's what makes everybody like me. And so you alter yourself. You alter yourself into constantly painting pictures of what everybody wants to see, when deep down inside you might want to be doing something else. If you love My Little Pony and you do it and everybody loves it, then that's cool. But I'm just saying, adoration and people that come to attack your work, both, if you give into those, they will make you their slave, and you will be servant to them. And that's not good, because you want to be master of your own destiny. Alrighty then, people. It's time for the question catapults. Alright, people, yeah, cast your questions over the castle walls, as has been instructed in the video there. Any questions that you have regarding sabotaging your own success, thoughts that you've had. And in the meantime, I'll just kind of keep blabbing. But yeah, I'm super excited. And I've really felt I almost felt bad talking about this today, because it's like, oh, I should talk to you about staying on track and staying focused, when today I was completely unfocused. I was completely distracted. And, you know, but maybe those are the best times. Maybe those really are the best times to give talks on the subject. It's like, look, I'm telling you guys to avoid this because this is exactly what I'm going through right now. or not necessarily avoid it, but just understand that it's going to be there. Understand, yeah, because I don't like teaching avoiding things. I don't like to teach you to, avoid emotions, avoid getting angry, avoid getting sad, because these are natural happenings of life. They are not bad experiences. They are just experiences, and your life is going to be full of them. And the reason why you're able to be so happy later is because you have the contrast of being very disappointed at one point in your life. The people that come from the lowliest kind of humble beginnings are the people that just, it seems like almost starting out in a low spot, right? Whether it's financially, emotionally, you can, anything. I'm not just talking business. But starting off in any sort of low spot, it seems like that's where people just like figure out who they are. And unless they start with that, it seems like, I don't know, like people get some sort of interesting drive when they're forced with, when they're kind of given circumstances that are, what's the word? Unfortunate. So basically with that is you really have to be grateful with whatever you have. If you're born into, an easy life, whatever that may be, emotionally, financially, then be grateful for that. Just because the circumstances around you are not ideal doesn't mean that you're any worse off. In fact, it means that you have the greater potential. You have the greater potential. And it is an asset. It is an advantage. Okay, anyway, but that might be another conversation for another time. In the meantime, questions. Questions. Elleron is asking, any artists that you admire or admired now and when you were getting started? Yes. Yes, I constantly looked up to people on DeviantArt. And I didn't even know how they were creating pictures like this, because I was sitting over here with my pencil and paper and I was looking at these people, digital artists, who I didn't even know tablets existed. Right? I thought they were making digital art with the mouse. I was like, okay, I guess I've got to learn how to make digital art with the mouse. And I did. And it sucked. I colored them. I mean, I drew it with pencil and then I scanned it in and colored it. But can you imagine that? It's like, but I wanted to do it. And I took the tools that I was given and I still did it. And now I have become educated. I'm not as stupid as I used to be. I still have a lot to learn. I don't consider myself smart by any means, but I learned some things. So, okay. This might sound cliche. Aliano says, how do you overcome those internet addictions or distractions? I find myself procrastinating the things I want to do. In this case of my art and sketching. Aliano, yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And what you said actually brought up another way of putting this that I think might really make it stick. And that is, whenever I find myself getting the most distracted or the most unfocused or the most insecure or scared, is usually the point where I know that I can do it. Like, there's no more excuses. There's literally nothing standing in my way of my goal. It's like, I'm here, I can see my goal, it's a straight line, and all I have to do is walk to it. At that point specifically, is when I become the most scared, the most distracted, and the most ready to just do anything to sabotage it. Because you are right on the verge of that change. And you realize there's nothing in your way. You can't even stop it if you wanted to. And again, you just have to accept that it's going to be there, and you have to just build that mental muscle. You have to build that mental muscle. That's all it is. Because it's never going to go away. It's always going to be there ready to test you. And you just got to freaking put your hand on its shoulder and just move it out of the way. Just chuck that thing out of the way. Or sock it in the face. Whatever you got to do. Yeah. Or chuck a pillow. Take this pillow, take this distraction like this, chuck it at the wall. That's what I do. Okay. Last question. No, we're going to call it good. Sorry, I can't answer everybody's questions. But Calcidonix is asking, do you ever want to turn down projects with other people, even though it's probably going to help your name get out there? If you really aren't feeling the project, is it a good idea to force yourself to jump into it anyway? How do you know when something is going to be worthwhile? Well, I'll tell you how something's going to be worthwhile is if they're paying you, right? Don't jump into a project because they say, oh, well, this thing's going to get tons of exposure. You get your name out there, but you got to work for free. Don't fall for that. Say, hey, oh, yeah, you have a skill to give to these people. Be like, hey, I'm ready to create my best work for you guys. This is what I charge, right? And hey, yeah, the promotion and the exposure is great too, but don't settle for just that. And if it's a project that you really just aren't into, just tell them straight up. Be like, look, like, I don't know exactly why you guys contact me with this. You might want to try this artist. I don't know. I personally, like, here's a great example. I've actually been contacted by some companies that want me to do like some weird Adobe freaking Illustrator iPad game for kids, or it's like this pirate thing. I hate working in Illustrator. And the art style was like super crappy. It was literally like a piece of crap game. But I still took it because I was like, oh, well, I need the money. I need to do this. And I felt like crap. I hated doing it. So, I don't know. If you really just aren't feeling a project, don't be afraid to say no. Because sometimes the money isn't worth it. Sometimes the money is not worth it. In fact, yeah, the money's never worth it if it's not a project that you're into. Okay. Okay. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end today's show. Thank you once again for joining me live on Twitch. Don't forget, guys, share and win on the Facebook. I can't wait to send these prints out. I'm going to pick 3 lucky winners. And, oh, if you support me on Patreon, you guys are guaranteed to get one of these, as well as all the other future share and wins. So I send you guys all kinds of cool stuff. You guys take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. Till next time, you guys take care.